Today I'll show you how to post a blog to the Advantage theme in WordPress. So here's where we're going to go first, is you go to whatever your URL is and add WP admin to the end of that. Then you'll enter in your username that I provide and your password and hit login. Okay, now when you're in here, I see the full admin menu, but you're only going to see the basic stuff so that it'll be less confusing. But when you go in here, you're only going to really look for posts. That's all you need to be concerned about. And then you'll go into Add New. And then that creates this blank post here for you. When we do the title, this title is going to become the URL. So this is the address that for the page that it's going to go to. So we want to create a fairly short URL. For instance, in this case, green card on this page is the title of the page. Now, a blog post may have a longer title, but just because you have all this space here doesn't mean you need to use it. In fact, what I would do is try to cut it off someplace about midway and try to keep the title as concise as possible, using whatever the focus of the article is. The focus would be the keywords in the article. So if this article, for example, was about how to get a green card, then it would simply be how to get a green card. We want to avoid a lot of lawyer talk, legalese, stuff like that. You want to try to keep it basic. You're trying to hit about an 8th grade reading level when you do any kind of posts. So, if it starts running into a lot of legal jargon, that kind of stuff needs to be changed into plain English wherever possible. Sometimes it's not possible. But it just makes it easier for the reader to understand. And it's also more valuable to Google in that way. So here you can paste from anything that you want. And here, if say you've written your article in Word, you can paste it in Word. You can even grab it from another website. I'm just going to go in here and grab this stuff from here. Now, we don't want to copy directly from a website. If we were going to do this in real life, then we would change this article significantly. This is not something I suggest you do, copying from another website. It's always better to have fresh original content. So when you get over here, you're simply going to right click, and the best thing to do to avoid any unwanted formatting is to paste as plain text. Especially word processors, you're going to have a lot of extra formatting in there, and sometimes it's not legible or readable by WordPress, and even though it may look fine when the data is actually parsed, it comes up and it looks funny. You'll have big gaps in the spacing, or you'll have sometimes you'll see the square boxes in like midway through an article, and that's usually from legacy quotation marks and stuff like that. So you want to avoid pasting any kind of formatting into here. But then that means we're going to have to format it ourselves. So this is the main title of the article. So with that, we're going to give that a heading. Right now it's set to be a paragraph, but we're going to make it into a heading. So we never use heading 1. There can only be one heading 1 to a page. There can be multiple H1s or H2s, H3s, H4s, etc., but only one H1. And H1 is the title of the page. That's why it's important to have the keyword in it. So you go to, usually I only use one H2 on a page. So I'll call this H2. And you see it grabbed the rest of the paragraph underneath here, because it thinks it's a paragraph. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up here after the end of it, hit enter, hit delete once, and then highlight this area, and I'm going to change this back to paragraph. Then you want to use H3, H4 throughout the rest of the document. You don't want to use bolds. Bolds don't get the attention of Google. The Google looks for the H1, H2, H3, H4. That's where it's going to look first. So we'll make this one right here. We'll change that one to an H3. And got the same problem here. So we're going to highlight that, change it to paragraph, space here, change that to paragraph, and there we go. Okay, so then we've got at least one H2 and one H3 in here, and they both have our keyword in it, and that's what we're looking for. We want to have that keyword in there. Basically, you mention it once for every approximately 100, 150 words is going to create the right keyword density that Google looks for. So once we've done that, then we can go ahead and preview the page and see what it looks like. So then the blog post title, this is the H1, how to get a green card. The H2, how to get a green card in the United States. How to get a green card, family sponsored preferences, and then it goes into the preferences. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an image to our post. So you can place a cursor wherever you want it. I'm just going to put it about midway in the page here. I'm going to put it actually a little bit lower. We'll go put it right here after this line. Then go up here, click Add Media. You can either upload your own image here, or you can go to your media library and choose one from here. If your media library is big, it takes a while for it to parse it. But you can grab one from here. And we'll say we'll use that one. Okay. And there's our image. There it goes. Okay. So as you can see, this kind of makes your text go all wonky. So we're going to want to wrap the text here. See, this is no alignment, no wrap. So we want the photo to be, say, in this case, we're going to go a right alignment on the photo with wrapping. And then that makes it look decent. Okay, we can preview that again. And there we go. Okay, now you're probably also going to want to include videos in your post. So there's two different ways to do that. First, if it's a Facebook post, and Facebook, it's really easy to post from Facebook. Facebook's made it super easy. So we just create a space where we want it. I suggest not putting it at the top of the page, because the first thing we want Google to crawl is, we want them to crawl the text, not the video. So we want some good kind of descriptive text above the video, and then launch into the video about a paragraph or 2 paragraphs down. So to embed that video from Facebook, we're going to go over here to Facebook, and from this is from a public, something that you published as a public video, so it's available. Anybody that goes to your page can see it. And I just grabbed a random one here, and then you're going to go to Options. And then here we're going to select Embed. Then it gives you this address right here. Okay. Now, if you want to include the full post, if there's some text included with the post, you can also click on this button, and or that little checkbox, and that'll include the entire post from Facebook. But if you just select this whole thing, make sure it's all highlighted, copy it, and go back to your website, right-click again. Now, if I paste it here, actually, I almost made a mistake. If I paste it here, sometimes it won't properly handle the code. So if you paste it here and for some reason you go to preview the page and it just has the code here, it doesn't have the video, then what you're going to want to do is switch over to the text screen, and you can see this wherever it has that ampersand, and then it says NBSP. That's basically the hard return. So you can put this right after that or right before it, either way. And then you're going to right-click and hit Paste as Plain Text. And then when you switch back to the visual, there's your video. Then you can use the visual to position it. You can create another space in between it, or you can center it, or you can do anything like that. If you want to center it, you can click on it and then hit the Align Center. And that's going to push the video to the center. There we go. It's not liking that. Okay. And then again, if you want to preview it, you can hit the preview button. And there's Andres in his video. Okay. Now, the other way is similar if you're going to post a Facebook post. So I'm going to go ahead and take out this code for now. This all out. And then I'm going to go into YouTube. And here you can do the same thing. Just select whatever video you want to include. Can be anything. Okay. And then here we're going to click Share. And instead of, you don't want to copy that URL, what you want to do is you want to click Embed, and then it's going to give you the embed code right here. make sure that this box is checked so that it doesn't show suggested videos at the end, because this won't be exclusively your videos. This will be videos of similar topic, but it could be from anybody else, and it's usually paid advertisers that it does that. And if you don't want to show the titles, then you want to uncheck this, and that's going to take the titles off from here. You can see the difference. So if for some reason you don't want the titles on there, then that's what you do, and it automatically updates the code for you. Then you can go ahead and copy this and go over here, and then here we already have this paragraph that's created right here from the last one, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it into there. Again, this is on the text tab, not the visual tab. Then when we switch back, there we are with the new video. Okay, now a couple more things that we need to do. We need to decide what category this is going to go in, and this is important because as people search, as people on the website itself, the website is broken into categories. When people go into the blog, they see the most recent blog posts. Got a lot going on today. So they see the most recent blog posts, and these are all based on the category that you've chosen, or categories. You can have multiple categories, and that way you don't end up with one that's intended for the criminal blog and the immigration part, and you don't end up with family law and the criminal, and vice versa, unless it's a crossover and has content in there that could be helpful to criminals. Okay, so here we're going to go back. We're going to say this is not a frequently asked question. Let's call this one news. Okay, so we'll say it's news and it's immigration news. Okay. Now you can select any category you want from over here. Don't create new categories. There's already way too many categories in here. So if you, like here, there's all these blog categories, which is fine. If you want to just keep it on the blog page, then you can go immigration blog right here, and then you can choose from one of the sub things here. Now, if it's a video, if you're posting something for the videos, then there's actually another category for videos down here under video library. And because there's a lot of, maybe you're doing it on the radio, you could check radio here, and then it's only going to show up on the radio page. Okay. Then the final thing is we want to make sure we set a featured image. If we don't set a featured image, nothing shows up on for an image on the blog post. Now, if it's a video, then what we actually want to do is we want to change this. We'll put the video here, and this only works for YouTube videos. So on Facebook videos, you'll have to use just a static picture, like a screenshot of the start of the video or something like that. You see the video embed code here. Okay. What this allows you to do is, if there's a video, it allows you to embed that as the picture. So here we go to video library. And all these, we can play the video right from here without actually having to go into the post if we don't want to. Okay, if we don't post it, if we don't put that embed code in there, which is the same embed code that you pasted up above, if we don't put that embed code in there, then this will not appear. Okay, so again, this only works, well, it actually works on Vimeo too, I guess. So YouTube and Vimeo, you can grab it from the same embed code, change this to video, and then paste the embed code down here in the Fusion options down here. Okay. Now, if it's a static picture, you can choose the same picture that you chose earlier. You can choose a different one. It's best if these are all the same size. If you choose them and they're different sizes, then what you end up with is what we just looked at here. There's several of the blog posts that have different size images. So this one, you can see the U.S. citizenship one is a little bit taller than the DACA one. And so, if these pictures were all the same size, then this wouldn't happen. So we want to keep the dimensions of these featured images to be about 300 by 200, 400 by 300, something like that, so that as long as they're all the same dimensions, then the thumbnails that show here will all be shrunken down accordingly, and they would all be the same height. Okay, again, you can always upload your own image here. Okay, so once you've set your image, then you're going to go up here, you're going to go ahead and hit publish, and then after that, you are done. Your video your video page or your blog post is live, and then you can go and you can actually look for it. Once you publish it, I'm not going to publish this page, but once you publish it, then there'll be another button up here that says View Post. You can actually click on it, and it'll take you directly to the live post. And hopefully that covers everything. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me. If you have any problems, just let me know. It does work differently on different themes, but primarily we use the Advantage theme, so I don't think you'll have any problems with it if you just follow the steps. And that's about it. If you have any questions, so get in touch with me.